Hello everyone and welcome to Nicole Reacts Up. I'm Nicole and I react to LGBTQ movies and shows. Today we'll be recapping and reacting to the L Word Gen Q Season 3 Episode 2. There's a lot to get into, so let's get started. Let's go. So we last left off where Bet and Tina were professing their love to each other and started to touch fingers and then started to kiss. And of course they were unceremoniously interrupted by their daughter, Angie. That's where we left off on the end of episode 1 and episode 2 starts from there. So they get caught and they're like, I was just checking her heart to make sure it was still beating. Oh, let me button my shirt back up. Like, girl, she's not stupid. She's like 18 years old and she knows what you guys were doing. And they're like, did you need something? Why are you here? And she's like, I'm out, bye. And what I found really funny was Tina like really wanted to get with Bet so bad. And she was like, we should give her some space. We should let her figure this out on her own. She's seen worse. She's seen worse? What has she seen? Tina, please tell me what she's seen. She ain't seen a lot of you because you left and Bet raised her pretty much. But that's neither here nor there. She was like, yeah, let her go. What were we talking about? What were we just doing? I want to get back into that. They then questioned themselves, is this real? Are we back together? And they both agree that it is real and they do love each other and then they've always loved each other. And they agree that this is a good idea. So they go ahead. They start kissing, they start removing items of clothing, and you know the rest. But the only thing that did surprise me at first, this was Bet and this was Tina. But the roles reversed, and that's what threw me for a loop. What about you? Let me know in the comments, but I really enjoyed that moment. It was 1 second long, but it was 1 second that I will never forget. There is one thing about this sex scene that I didn't notice, and it was only pointed out to me by my friend Kate. Again, shout out to Kate. She reminded me of a callback from many years ago. In a previous season, where Bet and Tina have sex for the first time after being apart from each other for a long time, Tina goes, "You're so..." And in this scene, where they're going to have sex for the first time after a very long time, she says, "You're so beautiful." I don't know if that was done on purpose, but if it was, wow. Nice thinking. We then cut over to Danny's luxury apartment where Gigi is also getting ready in the morning with her. Now, last year, some people got mad at me for saying that there was a big age disparity between the two. And even if in real life there isn't, I feel like their characters are very different. Gigi in this scene looks like an older woman. She has kids. She looks like a businesswoman. In this shot right here, with the outfit, Danny looks like a Gen Zer. She looks very young. So that's all I have to say about that. Gigi is looking stunning with the blazer bra combination. I'm loving it. And then Danny asks, are you dating me or her? Gigi was not having it. She said, Daniela, enough. Ya no más. It was giving very much mom vibes. It did make me feel like I was getting yelled at by my mom for a second. It made me nervous, not gonna lie. At the worst moment, while they're arguing about Nat, guess who calls Gigi? Nat. And with that, Danny was like, I'm out. Bye. We cut over to Shane's house where Tess seems to also be living. Shane is laying there like a cucumber or a dead fish, and Tess is trying to seduce her by giving her kisses all over her body and being like, so are we gonna open up a second bar? Did you say yes? You didn't say yes, but you didn't say no. Meanwhile, she's trying to be all cute and sexy and convincing, and Shane is like, she is unbothered, undisturbed, and very uninterested, it seems. I can tell by the lack of emotion on her face that she is kind of tired of Tess. And you know what? Same. Shane is already running a big bar. This place is huge. She's got a dog. She's got a big house where your mother is living. You're taking care of your mother with dementia and her caretaker coming to the house every day. It's a lot. I can understand exactly why she doesn't want to open up another business. It's just another responsibility. So Tess keeps asking, can we do it? Can we do it? And Shane did what Shane does best. Use sex to divert from the original question. So we're back at Finley and Sophie's house where Finley has purchased an easel. And my first question was, with what money did you purchase such easel? It looks fancy and expensive. And I know you don't have a job yet, so questions. They had lots of fun Pictionary nights at rehab, and she would like to bring the tradition back to her home and have a family Pictionary evening. At first, Sophie was like, oh, that's kind of lame. But she saw how excited Finley was about it, so she gave in and decided, okay, let's do it. And Finley was like, okay, cool, let's invite everybody. Let's get your sister, let's get Micah. And Sophie was like, no, let's just play ourselves. Like, we don't have to invite anybody. Super embarrassed to have you as a girlfriend, and yeah, no, how about no? And it's like, you can't play Pictionary with two people. You need teams. So stupid. Anyway, Finley's like, why? Why can't we invite other people? And she's like, yeah, well, my sister, like, hates your guts. Yeah, she can't stand you. And I feel like as a girlfriend or even friend, you didn't have to, like, lay it on so hard. You could have been like, yeah, like, my sister's not... She's not your biggest fan right now. You're not her favorite person. Like something like that. But she's like, no, my sister hates your guts. Like, god damn. Like, that would make me cry, honestly. I'm a sensitive hoe. So at this point, Sophie's like, damn, I gotta talk to my sister now and convince her to play Pictionary with Finley. Turns out, nosy little eavesdropper over there was listening to the conversation the whole time. And she's like, girl, I heard you and I am not going. But somehow, Sophie convinces her and she backs back into the bushes like Homer Simpson. Back at Dana's, Shane and Alice are discussing that they don't know what's going on with Bet and Tina and they don't know where they stand. But not to worry, they walk in right away. And Shane and Alice are like, so y'all together? And they're like, yeah, we got things to work out. We gotta talk about it. And they're like, wow, no time has passed. Just like old times. So they were like, yeah, Angie came in last night and walked in on us. LOL, silly us. And Alice was like, wow, how gross for her. But you know what? She didn't really see much. Nothing was happening at that point. All the clothes were on. Just like for most of the sex scene. And Bet's like, oh, she came home. Wait, why did she come home? Yeah, why didn't you ask that question of your daughter? And Shane's like, don't tell her I told you. And Tina was like, oh, we're terrible mothers. And I was like, girl, we already knew that about you. And Bet's like, I never liked that girl anyway. And I was like, same. Then Alice gets interrupted by a phone call. She thinks it might be JoJo Siwa's people. Yes? Hello. And then Bet and Tina look at each other and go, who's JoJo Siwa? Disrespectful. She's the queen of TikTok and Nickelodeon. You know. Back at the gigantic apartment complex that I don't understand how they can all afford, we're in the kitchen with Sophie, Finley, Maribel, and Micah. Finley's trying to warm up to everybody, get on everybody's good graces. She's like, hey, congrats on the baby. They didn't even really decide on having a baby yet, but that doesn't matter. Maribel's already pissed. And as if the foot wasn't deep enough into Finley's mouth, she starts shoving it in further by saying, oh, you guys are gonna create a baby with both your cute faces. But wait, you can't do that. That's impossible. How are we ever gonna choose whose face we're gonna pick? Wow, things are difficult for both of you. Let me rub it in. She just makes everything worse. As usual, there's nothing new to see here, guys. Just digging that hole a little deeper, pissing everybody off, creating a wonderfully awkward beginning to an evening. Back at Marcus's opening, Danny takes Bet aside and says, hey, can I ask you for advice? It's about some woman that you hooked up with before. You know, Gigi. Yeah, I know. She's hooked up with everybody, right? LOL. She wants me to talk with Nat to see if it would be good that Gigi and I move in together. I don't want her permission. What would you do? And Bet was like, Nat's her co-parent. She's got a co-parent. She's looking after her family. You gotta ask yourself, are you ready to be a stepmom? Are you ready to be part of a family? And honestly, I thought Danny was gonna say no, but she took this advice and decided to sleep on it. And I would say, Bet should be the last person you go to for relationship advice, but she gave some good advice, I will say. I'll give the credit where credit is due. Back at the art opening, Alice joins with her new date, who happens to be a movie star. Shane is not impressed from the get-go. She's whatever the opposite of humble would be, and she seems a little bit like a saleswoman. Shane is not buying what she's selling. Meanwhile, Shane is flirting with the waitress, and Alice is like, what the hell are you doing? And she's like, you always get this. It's the itch. Whenever you're in a relationship for too long, you get the itch that you need to get out of it. And you know what? She's absolutely right. It happened with Carmen. It happened with Paige. I think it happened with Molly, and it's definitely happened with Tess. So it's only a matter of time, guys. We then cut to Bet and Tina at the opening. Tina is looking at a piece of art, and Bet saunters in beautifully. We learn quickly that they are role-playing the first time they met, which was at an art gallery while Tina was with her boyfriend. She left her earring there just for another reason to come back and see Bet again in private without little Eric, the boyfriend. Tina proceeds to put her earring in her hair. That's like, oh, you lost your earring. Let me just say, those tricks work. I've done it before. Then we cut to Danny, who finally decides to swallow her pride and agree to talk to Nat about moving in with Gigi, because the kids are involved, so it makes sense. Gigi was on her way to the office, probably to do some extra work, and was like, you know what? I'm gonna go see Danny. So everything looks like it's gonna go well with Genie, huh? What could go wrong? We then cut to Bet and Tina, who are explaining to Angie that, just so you know, we're back together. And Angie literally says, no shit. It was quite obvious last night when you were making out and undressing each other. And they were like, yes, we know, but we don't want you to think it was just a hookup. We are actually getting back together. Angie was completely unbothered, didn't care. She's like, I already declared that I'm gonna have my hoe phase right now. I don't have time for your drama. I've got my own. Thanks so much. And they were like, oh, by the way, we heard that Jordy broke up with you. We're so sorry. And stupid, annoying Tina is like, I wish we could have been there for you. Like, Girl, you were right there. You were physically there. You just didn't want to get interrupted. And you were like, oh, let her go. She needs her space. Terrible mother. So Finley and Sophie beat Micah and Maribel's ass at Pictionary, which I think was a stupid idea. If you're trying to get into somebody's good graces, I feel like you should just allow them to win. It's an ego thing. They already think they're better than you. Prove it to them. Let them win. They literally had no chance. This was what Micah drew for goggles. It looks like a car or a potato on wheels. So they're cleaning up after the game is over, and Maribel gets left alone in the room with Finley, and she looks so annoyed by it, and Finley tries to make conversation. She tries to give advice that she has a bad relationship with her mother, and that maybe Micah does, and then maybe you should be a little bit more understanding. And Maribel, the savage, it was like, listen, I do not need advice from anybody, especially you. Stay out my business, stay out of my life, don't talk to me, okay? Sophie and Micah come in and they're like, oh my God, what's going on? And Finley's like, nothing is going on. We like each other. And savage ass Maribel was like, no, actually, I don't like you. As a matter of fact, I like the girl that she was hooking up with while you were gone a lot more than you. Boom. Yo, I always loved Maribel's candor, but damn, she's a shitty sister. Maribel was the one that told her mom at the dinner table that Finley got a DUI. She's just a snitch. And here she just snitched on her own sister saying, oh yeah, she was hooking up while you were at rehab the whole time. That's whack. Obviously, Finley's hurt. She goes upstairs to mope, understandably. And Sophie's like, listen, like, we had an understanding. I was allowed to do that. We were on a break. We were on a break! And Finley was like, yeah, I understand that, but it still hurts, which I can't believe I'm gonna say this on camera, on the internet, but I side with Finley on this one. She's allowed to be upset. It hurts. It hurts the ego. It hurts the feelings. My wife just pointed something interesting out to me. Maribel's all mad at Micah that he hasn't told his mom that they were dating. She's all offended. She's all butthurt. But remember when she didn't want to tell her mom that she was dating Micah? Oh, okay. All right. Double standard. Back at the opening, Shade and Tess, they're kissing, they're drinking, they're looking at art, or pretending to look at art, most likely. And Shane decides, yes, let's open up that second bar. Take all my money, Tess. Here you go. Give me more responsibility. Give me more stress. I honestly think the only reason she said yes is because she wanted to prove Alice wrong. She wanted to prove that she did not have the itch when she clearly has the itch. Let's not forget, Ivy has been texting her all day long. When are you going to give me a haircut? I hope her haircut is nothing like her styling, because I don't know what the hell that was. Nobody does. We cut back to Alice and her date. Alice is sporting a very cute haircut. Her date says, I didn't expect this, but I think we had a connection. I really like this. I really like you. And Alice is like, oh, really? Wow. Probably thinking that, okay, maybe this is gonna go somewhere. As she takes a sip of her champagne, she slowly realizes that she is trying to be recruited into the Nexium sex cult. Safe to say there will not be a second date. And she was like, damn it, Shane was right. And I know Shane is probably saying, damn it, Alice was right about my bitch. Meanwhile, back at the Sophie, Finley, Maribel, and Micah complex, Maribel and Micah are finally talking about their problem. Maribel's like, I don't want to force you into things you don't want, like having a baby. And Micah's like, you know what? I'm a changed man. I want this baby. Let's do it. Like, where the hell did that come from? Also, like, we haven't seen the journey of their relationship. They've been together about 8 or 9 months at this point, which I think is a little bit too early, but there's no context for me to go on here. Are they ready for children? The last I saw that she was pretty much emotionally abusing him. And for some reason, he's a master swaddler. We don't know anything about Micah's life. Does he have little siblings that he cared for and swaddled and changed their diapers? I don't know, but where did even that come from? Make it make sense. He said he watched YouTube videos. Were you swaddling a doll? It's not the same. An actual baby moves and poops while you're trying. Blah, blah, blah. We're back in Sophie and Finley's bedroom, and Sophie's like, I'm sorry for hurting you, and Finley's, I'm sorry for hurting you, and like, that's all you really need to know about that. But what's important is we go back to the art opening where Bet and Tina are holding hands, walking around. Tina's like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what you've done with your career. Maybe I should have said that more. Yeah, Tina, maybe you should have said nice things. Maybe you should have expressed your pride in your wife. Maybe you should have stayed around and raised your own daughter. These are all things that maybe you should have tried. But no, everything's Bet's fault. So they embrace, and Bet whispers into Tina's ear, in a moment of weakness, trying to be cute, stay with me in LA. She meant nothing bad by it. There was no demand made. There was nothing malicious about it. And Tina took it to 100 in 3 seconds. She said, oh, I would never ask you to give everything up. You're not the only one with a career. Miss ma'am, I paid $10,000 for that painting and I'll do it again. She's like, you know what? This is like 2004 and 2005 and 2006 and 2007 and 2008 and 2009 all over again. You're not gonna change. You're the same. Wow, I can't believe I fell for this again. I'm gonna leave. Oh, there's my car. Bye. So she basically breaks up with Bet in like 2 seconds. Bet has no chance to say anything and just leaves. Alice, Shane, and Tess walk over and they're like, what happened? And Bet's like, I effed it up. I effed it up like I always F it up. Not true, Bet. It's not always your fault. Don't let us all make you believe that that's the case. Sometimes it was your fault, but not always. Anyway, Alice gave a suggestion that might have sounded obvious, but nobody had ever thought of it or said it out loud or said it to Bet and said, hey, maybe you follow Tina this time. Maybe you make the sacrifice. And Bet's eyes light up as if she heard the greatest idea for the greatest invention ever made in the history of mankind. She's like, oh, that's what I needed to know 15 years ago, you stupid hoe. Why did you tell me? And what cracked me up, Tina just gets in the car that's taking her to the airport. Angie is literally right there, doesn't even say goodbye to her daughter. Am I surprised? I am not. She loves leaving Angie behind. And this is easy. It's easy for her. So Shane, Alice, Tess, and Bet run out and say, Angie, you need to drive. We've been drinking. Let's go. We're gonna chase your mom. We gotta chase her down. I'm gonna follow her wherever she's going. Toronto. They drive off to go follow her in traffic. Meanwhile, Tina is in her Uber, putting on her headphones. I swear to God, I thought it was gonna be like Taylor Swift, like that. She gives me Taylor Swift vibes. But no, this girl was meditating and she puts her AirPods in and she's just vibing to herself. You are strong. You are beautiful. You are confident. Whatever it is. So Danny texts Gigi, are you still coming? Please come. Gigi is driving. She's on her way there. She grabs her phone. She texts with one hand and puts the phone down. Seems like she ran a red light and got T-boned on the driver's side. Terrible accident, looks painful. Now both Tina and Bet in separate cars, probably a few miles away from each other, are both stuck in dead set traffic due to the accident that Gigi is in. She's not answering her phone because it's probably on Do Not Disturb. And Tess was like, why don't you go chase her on foot? And Bet's like, should I? What if she says no? And Angie's like, she ain't gonna say no. I saw her face the other night. So this next part felt like a goodbye scene. Like Bet was saying farewell to all the characters and us. She turns to Shane. I love you. You've created a wonderful, full life for yourself. I'm so proud of you. That speech made sense. Then she turns to Alice and is like, you're incredibly special, like unicorn rainbow special, which I don't think Bet would ever really say. And apart from Tina, you are my absolute favorite ex-girlfriend. Like, that was silly. Bet would never say that either. And Angie was also disturbed by that comment. So Bet finishes her little Wizard of Oz speeches and gets out the car and starts running for her Tina. She catches up to Tina's car, knocks on the window, and Tina's like, what the hell are you doing? You ran here? And she's out of breath and she's like, you're my forever. You're my one. You're the only one. My whole life. And Tina's like, I know, but that's not our problem. We have different problems. And Bet's like, no. I'm coming. I'm coming to Toronto with you. She's like, I spent the last 25 years building my career here and I'm so proud of it, but now I want to spend the rest of my life making you happy. And Tina's like, nah, you're on crack. You're crazy. You're not thinking straight. You love it here. You love your friends. You love your job. And Bet is like, yes, but I love you more. So beautiful. And Tina was like, get in the car. They get in, they start kissing, and they drive off to the airport. Do either of them have luggage? No. What about Bet? You likely don't even have your passport. How are you getting into Canada? And I know you don't have a change of underwear, and you don't have your night creams. You know that Bet has a very extensive nighttime face routine, and they're expensive. You're gonna have to buy all that in Canada, which is just gonna be more expensive. And you know that Bet wears an Invisalign retainer to bed. You just know. She's gonna fly that cross-country flight in that dress? That's gonna be uncomfortable. No toothbrush? Like, I just don't get it. It's giving me anxiety. And we cut back to the art opening. Danny gets a phone call, and who's it from? Nat. And she's like, who's calling me? Hi, Nat, how are you? Yes. And Nat tells her Gigi's been in an accident. And that's how the episode ends. And there you have it, folks. That was the episode. Let me know down in the comments if you liked it and if you didn't like it. And if you like this shirt or any other shirts I've worn on my recaps, you can check out my Spotify. You can check out my Shopify. I've got t-shirts there and fun stickers from your favorite shows that I designed myself. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I'll see you all next week for another episode of Nicole Reacts Up. Thank you. Bye.